Thought Bubble Audio.
Podcast. It's 30 Rock Podcast. It's 30 Rock Podcast. 30 Rock Podcast.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I wish I had my headphones in at that time so I could have joined you, but I was busy preparing to talk about this.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Name the dog, Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my Sheinhardt Wig employee friend Frank. How are you?
You could have just, that was good. You could have just said friend Frank, and it would have been a reference.
Oh, dang it! Dang it! Dang it! I worked so hard.
This is the one time you could have just said my friend Frank, and it would have been a perfectly good reference.
I am disappointed in myself. I think this is very indicative of how this episode is going to go.
How are you, my friend?
I am doing very well. I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm also doing very well. I'm
very good.
I'm a quite happy fellow.
Good. I am glad to hear it. I assume it's not because of my company.
Oh, no. It has nothing to do with you. No.
Wonderful. What are you drinking tonight?
Well, I am drinking a very ancient beverage that goes back as far as, I think, the ancient Egyptians. We have evidence of them making this beverage. It's called tea.
Wow.
Yes.
It really goes back that far, huh?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Beer does.
The beer does. Yeah.
I don't know about tea.
Well, I'm drinking a big beverage.
Oh, big
beverage, but it's kind of low on the scale of alcohol. It's Bigelow tea. I am also drinking tea. Yeah. See what I did there? Yeah. You didn't know you were drinking Bigelow, though, so I can tell you were slightly confused.
I mean, I can see it right here on the...
It's just peach green tea, Frank. We ran out of beer.
It's very good.
I'm sorry. I didn't have time to go to the store to get more today, so you're drinking tea.
Hey, I'm good. I'm drinking peach green tea out of a Superman Force of Good mug. I'm happy.
I'm drinking mine out of a Grumpy Cat mug because it was the first one I grabbed.
There you go.
It says, "Good mornings, no such thing." It's good. I'm actually kind of a morning person. I like sleeping, and I have a hard time getting out of the bed. But I don't mind. People are like, I have to sleep until noon, otherwise I'm not rested. I'm not like that. I feel like the day is wasted.
I kind of agree with you, except on weekends. I really enjoy I'm very precious about my weekend time.
Sure.
Sure.
Well, I like a normal amount of hours of sleep.
Sure.
But I can get up at 7, 8 in the morning and be okay for it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well...
Yeah. You know what I wouldn't be able to do is get out at 7, 8 in the morning?
Sure. We'll go with that. Yeah, okay.
If I worked on a say, variety show that was on at a late hour.
Yeah.
Kind
of girly.
Kind of a girly show, you would say.
Yeah.
But let's... but you know what? I would be able to get I would be able to get up early every morning if Tracy Jordan was on it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was really...
It's really tenuous. We'll go with it.
Yeah. Frank, when was the last time you watched 30 Rock?
Oh, man. Last time I watched even an episode, you mean? Or last time I like...
Yeah, an episode.
Last time, I don't know, a month or two ago. It's the kind of thing that I'll put on for I'm not ready to go to bed yet, but I have nothing. Let me put on an episode of 30 Rock.
What episode did you watch?
It was The Verger.
The rural juror.
The rural juror.
The what? The rural juror. The rural juror. The what? Yeah, it's a good episode.
It is a good one.
Yeah, that's a joke that had longevity.
It
too,
did,
because she was talking. Jenna was talking about being in that movie
for like a season.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, Lemon was like, it's gone on too long. Did you watch 30 Rock when it right when it started? Or did you come to it a little late?
I came to it later in the run, while it was still on TV, while it was still in the first run. But,
same as myself,
but not right from the start. I don't remember. I guess it must have been. Was it you or was it our friend Andrew who turned me onto it? I'm not sure.
A fine question indeed.
I'm not sure.
And one that I actually don't have the answer to. I don't remember turning you onto it, but I also don't remember being turned onto it by Andrew.
Do you remember how you started watching it?
Nope, sure don't. It just feels like something I've always been doing.
Was it on the same night as The Office at any point?
I don't know because I didn't really watch The Office.
Okay.
I would watch it independently. If people watched it, I would watch it.
Okay.
It was on it was on Thursdays. It was like Thursdays at 9:30 or something like that.
Yeah. I think they were on the same night. That may have been a part of how I got into it. I do think a friend turned me onto it, either you or Andrew. But I don't remember how it started. Yeah, I really don't. I had a good time binging and catching up on it on Netflix.
Sure.
And then once I was current on it, I kept watching through the end.
Yeah.
To the bitter end. And
I got it. See-through dishwashers.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I remember I remember two things about the finale of that show.
Okay.
And one of them is Jack driving away or like sailing away on a boat and then immediately turning around and be like, Lemon, I've got it. See-through dishwashers.
It was so ridiculous.
It's so good.
And if it was any other show, it'd be like, that's just lame. This is stupid. What? But like, because
30
of
Rock earned it.
Or 30 Rock earned it. 30 Rock earned it. And just Jack Donaghy being who he is, like that, it's like, yep, that fits. That fits.
Did you know? So Jack Donaghy is a staunch Republican on that show, capitalist Republican on that show, and Alec Baldwin is not. Alec Baldwin is a very liberal Democratic New Yorker.
Yeah.
And Jack Donaghy is a very conservative Republican Bostonian.
Yes.
And that was done just because it was Alec Baldwin playing that part.
Oh, I completely that makes
they were
perfect
like
sense.
they got Alec because I think they offered but it was written with him in mind.
Yeah,
and they offered it to him, going, he won't do this.
Yeah,
and then he's like, that sounds fun. Let's do it. And they're like, okay, great,
cool.
You're gonna be a Republican. Yeah. And so it's so funny to like watch, knowing Alec Baldwin and his his Blues, like watch him talk about Reagan being the greatest president,
right?
And like with his jelly beans and stuff like that. That's so good.
And this is during
Jonathan.
This is during the Bush years.
My jelly beans.
Yeah,
this was during Bush and Obama.
It must have got crossed over into Obama.
Yeah, it would have been 8 years ago. That would have been
it ended in 2013.
Yeah,
so it was
it was a bit of both.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite character?
I mean, Liz Lemon.
We've talked about the.
All right.
No, we did not talk about this on this
podcast.
On this podcast, so I will repeat myself.
All right, go ahead.
Main characters by de facto are your favorite character. Otherwise, you wouldn't read the book or watch the movie or watch the television show every week.
It's you get a mulligan, and it's always the main character.
Yes.
So who's the other?
Jack. Yeah,
Jack
is your favorite.
Oh,
yeah, he is also mine. Although Pete comes really close.
Okay,
I love
Pete. Is great.
Pete.
Yeah, Pete is overlooked too much. I
think so too. He kind of goes away in some
in
the later seasons.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Hornberger. Yeah.
Oh man,
so good.
Fantastic. I saw him. He was at a.
I saw him at a Comic-Con. He was far away. He was very tall.
Yes, he was very tall. I saw him do a show with Eugene Merman and Bill Nye the Science Guy and Rachel Dratch.
That's a weird combo.
Eugene Merman every year in Boston does a thing called the Eugene Merman Comedy Festival.
Okay.
And he's friends with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Sure.
So he invited Neil deGrasse Tyson has his podcast, Star Talk Radio.
Yep.
And once in a while, Bill Nye will fill in for him if he's not there. So they always do a live recording of Star Talk at the Eugene Merman Comedy Festival.
Oh, okay.
Where whether it's Tyson or Bill Nye, they will interview scientists and have like a panel discussion with a scientist talking about a topic and a bunch of comedians since they're at the comedy festival. So I got to see that crew, that roundup, that's
pretty cool.
Lineup. It was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. We saw Judah Freelander together.
We did.
Yeah.
And I haven't told you this. I saw him again since then, just a couple weeks ago.
What?
In New York. When I was in New York, I went to the Comedy Cellar, and Judah Freelander did was on the
wow,
on the bill.
you had a great time at that Comedy Cellar.
Dude, it was great.
Because you saw...
Aziz Ansari did a drop-in set.
Yep.
Surprise.
Yep.
The week that he was hosting SNL. So he did his SNL monologue for us on the Sunday before he hosted, which was phenomenal. It was fantastic.
Jeez.
It was such a great surprise. But Judah Freelander was on the bill. I knew he was going to be there. And Josh Gondelman, who's another comedian who I really like.
Okay.
You and I saw him at Improv Asylum one time.
He was very good. Yes.
Yeah.
He was that was the guy that his opening act was from Brockton.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which
Sean Sullivan.
Sean Sullivan, is that his name?
That's his name.
Yeah, because someone wooed in the crowd and he was like nobody woos for Brockton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That was great.
Brockton is a suburb of Boston, for those of you who don't know.
Brockton is a suburb of Boston. There's a movie being filmed there right now.
Oh, really?
Actually, with
Ben Affleck.
No, you would think, but no.
Matt Damon.
It's doubling for Detroit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And it's Catherine Bigelow's new movie.
Oh.
So The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30.
That's awesome.
And it's her new movie. I don't remember what it's about, but Catherine Bigelow is wandering around.
She's a big deal.
Fairly close to us.
That's really cool.
Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
Unrelated to 30 Rock whatsoever.
Good tangent, though. So Judah Freelander.
So we saw Judah Freelander. Frank. I met him.
Frank Rostano.
Actually, not with you.
No.
I met him years previous to that.
Oh.
We were at some con, who knows what. Apple, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe New York, probably New York. And he was just standing there, like near a table. Wasn't at a table. Wasn't his. He was just standing there. I think he was promoting a book he had just published.
Okay.
And so when I was like running to meet maybe you guys or something, so I like barely stopped and I said, "Hey, I'm a huge fan of 30 Rock. You're hysterical on it." That was it. And he goes, "Oh, thanks, man."
Yeah.
Like just like Frank. Yeah. And that was it. And then he moved on.
That's basically his bit. That's basically his whole thing.
I know.
He really does wear the hats.
Yeah, he does.
The snapback
he was wearing.
hats.
Yeah,
he really does. They don't always have different phrases on them. They usually just say "world champ." That's his thing.
Whether he urinates to create a garden is left to be decided.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. This episode is weird if you've never seen 30 Rock.
Very.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Yeah. Do you have a favorite guest star on 30 Rock?
Selma Hayek is definitely up there. Her episodes were very funny.
I'm cuckoo for Crazy Puffs. Is that right? Yeah.
Many of those.
No, it's not right.
McFlurry.
I'm McFlurry. I thought of you. How dare you stand here and insult me in this one in front of... Oh, shoot. What does that say? I wish... I haven't seen it in so long. You know when she takes Jack to church and he lies to the patron saint of of
guilty looks or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. So good. The show is so tongue-in-cheek. If it's not your style, it is a particular brand. And the first season is not indicative of the rest of the show.
That's very true. Yeah, the first season was very...
Yeah, Tina Fey always says the pilot is exactly a lesson in how not to do a pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I do love Jack Donaghy's entrance in the pilot when they go up to see Pete and Liz are called up to their boss's office.
Yep.
And it's getting remodeled and they're like, "Oh, what happened to so and so?" And let's call him Rick or whatever, because I can't remember his name. And there's a door and Alec Baldwin kicks it open and goes, "Rick's dead." Whatever. It's so funny. It's so good. "Hi, I'm Jack Donaghy. I'm your new." It's so good.
Do you have a favorite guest star?
As fun as I was asking you, I was like, I don't know, because there are a couple of really good recording, like Patti LuPone as Frank's mom is great.
So good.
Carrie Fisher was awesome in her episode. She was Emmy nominated for that, for her guest role in that. Yeah.
Julianne Moore.
Julianne. Oh yeah. Oh, you've lost your Boston accent. Oh, you shut up, Nancy Donovan. I ain't never been lost my Boston accent. Yeah. She's great. Selma Hayek. You'd said Nathan Lane as Jack's brother is really good. What's the guy from MASH? What's his name? Jack's
Alan Alda?
No, Jack's dad. It's nice to meet you too, Jack. Oh, sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. Yeah, Will Arnett as recurring guest star.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin.
Actually, that's like an all-time.
Actually, that might be the best. Go back to the night moon.
I walked on your face.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Would you like to yell at the moon with Buzz Aldrin?
Yes, I would. Oh yeah, that one's great.
So good.
Peter Dinklage.
Oh yeah,
is great.
Before he was Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, before he was Peter Dinklage. Yeah, before Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Martin
Martin Short?
No.
Oh wait.
Steve Martin, actually.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin is a good one. That's not what I was thinking of. Where it's
Wasn't Martin Short?
I miscounted the men, Liz.
Yeah.
I miscounted the men.
John Hamm.
John Hamm is so dumb. Actually,
so
I was
great.
used as the likeness for Prince Eric
Yeah,
when I was in high school. That's not who I was thinking
great.
of.
You were thinking Martin Sheen, right? Oh, Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen.
Yes.
I always get them all.
Yes, Michael Sheen.
Get them all mixed up. Oh yeah, Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, British Wesley Snipes. You know, there's a famous Wesley Snipes. No, there isn't. When you think of the name Wesley Snipes, what do you think of? A tough black man or a posh British man? You know, tell me, what is the first name? What is the first image that comes to your head? Wesley Snipes.
I can't remember the actor's name right now, which is sad because I used to know his name. But the guy who goes, "Hey, dummy," her like boyfriend who's terrible and like just awful.
Dean Winters.
Dean Winters. Thank
Dennis.
you. Yes, Dennis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dean Winters.
Hey, dummy. Yeah.
Hey, dummy.
Cheyenne Jackson was on for a little while when he was like one of the other the other guy. He was really good. Sure, so many guest stars. David Schwimmer as Greenzo.
Yes,
Greenzo out. Like, wow, Greenzo, you come up with that yourself? It's just off the top of my head. Yeah.
There's so many good ones. What do you? So the writers' room is a very, very it's a great source of comedy in that show, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got Frank, you've got Toofer, you've got Lutz, you've got all these great characters. Do you have a favorite of that bunch?
Ooh, I mean, Lutz is. I don't know. Lutz is definitely not my favorite because he's Lutz.
He's no one's favorite.
I think Frank is probably my favorite out of those, but Toofer like really amuses me.
Toofer's great.
Toofer really amuses me. What's her name? Katrina Bowden. I know her real name, but I can't remember her. Suri. Suri's kind of fun.
She's fun.
Yeah. I like Liz's reaction to Suri, I think, more than anything.
I love every time she tries to teach Suri a feminist lesson, and it just goes completely like
it goes exactly the opposite,
the wrong way.
Yeah. Shoot, I can't. Okay, so, Kathy Geiss. Okay, Don Geiss's daughter.
Don Geiss.
Actress named Marceline Hugo or Hugot. My mother knows her.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
She was. It took a while to connect it in my brain when I was watching the show, but she was in. I want to say it was Working Girl was when I first learned this, where she's a bride at a wedding and she dances with Harrison Ford for a second. And my mom was always like, "Oh, she's like I've met her before. She's like a friend of her, like whatever."
Wow.
And then she was like on 30 Rock, and I was like, "Oh my god,
wow,
I'm really connected to you." Like pretty close.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you've touched Alec Baldwin. By the transitive property, I've touched Alec Baldwin. Yeah, on the hand, but he's
still, I'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah, probably touched his face too. Yeah. So. Which is that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. Do you have out of Liz Lemon's love interests?
John Hamm.
John Hamm is your favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
You're disappointed by that.
No, John Hamm's fine. It was a good one.
Well, what's yours?
I mean, they're not really love interest, but I mean, Wesley Snipes is pretty great.
Yeah.
But like in the scheme of like people she should have maybe ended up with.
Astronaut Mike Dexter, totally agree.
Astronaut Mike Dexter. Jason Sudeikis.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot that he was on the show.
Yeah. His character, I can't remember his character's name, but he was a good guy.
He was a good guy.
You know,
maybe
there's
too
a song about Cleveland where they go to like
the Cleve.
Yeah. I love Cleveland. It's so good. Yeah, he was a good guy.
He was a good guy. I completely forgot. Yeah, he was a good guy.
She ends up with James Marsden, which
Marsden.
is not exactly
no slouch.
Yeah, not exactly a consolation prize, you know.
Yeah.
So that's pretty great.
Yeah. I always found the ending of the show to be a little rushed.
You think so? Why?
Yeah, kind of. Just sort of like it seemed like they knew it was their last season and they needed to wrap things up, so they did. And there's the whole thing where now they fast forward in time and she's with
Kenneth is the yeah.
How we haven't talked about Kenneth or Tracy nearly enough.
No, or Jenna for that matter.
Or Jenna. The three of them are kind of like the three stooges of like
.com and Grizzin.com.
And Grizzin.com, of course.
Yeah. They're always amusing to me because they're awful. Not Kenneth, but Jenna and Tracy are awful people. Awful people. I am a Jedi. I am a Jedi.
He's just so... It's so funny because he's like smarter than he lets on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like that whole thing of like him coming out with like these genius things like is great.
Yep. And Jenna is a lot dumber than she lets on too. Right. Which is great. My muffin top is all that whole grain and low fat. You know you want a piece of that, but I just want to dance. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Me want food.
Shoot, I took you that totally. Because I got the Mystic Pizza music stuck in my head, like and get your pizza. But out of Jack's love interests, do you have a favorite? Because there's Elizabeth Banks, Julianne Moore, Salma Hayek.
I forgot about Elizabeth Banks. She's definitely great.
That was good. Cece, her actress name I can't remember, but she was the political one. Matthew Broderick, that's another great guest star.
Oh yeah,
they're just caps. They're just caps. Oh, it's so good. Yeah,
it's so strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Salma Hayek is probably the favorite.
I think she's my favorite too. Yeah. Makes me every time I think of that like time with like them, I always want a McFlurry.
Yep.
Always.
I want one right now.
Yep.
Yep. I do. I do. Just thinking about it, but yeah, everything about that show was so great. I was so sad when it ended, but I was glad they were given a chance to end it the way they wanted to instead of being canceled.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm always grateful for that with my favorite shows.
It was one of those shows that it didn't really do well when it was on.
It was always struggling.
It always got lauded as like this show is great. It's always nominated,
critically acclaimed.
But it never really found an audience the way that it should have. Though its style of comedy is very specific. It's offbeat. Like our style. I mean, like I love when things are quotable. Like and I find 30 every episode had a gem of something. Working on my night cheese.
So much of the Liz Lemon, like I'm a lonely old woman. That stuff. But yes, night cheese is a
night cheese
definite.
Is so good.
Working on my night cheese. So great. Like there's so many of those moments too. I mean, the way she meets John Hamm is because like the wrong mail gets delivered.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Like just that like sort of mundane thing of. And that whole episode where like they're going on their first date and it's Valentine's Day and like his daughter has to be with them for a while. All the comedy of errors that happens there is just beautiful and perfect.
Liz's life was a comedy of errors.
Yeah, it really was.
That I had something in my brain and it was my mind grapes, and it was driven completely out by that story.
I'm sorry.
You should be.
I am.
You should be.
Good God, Lemon.
Good God, Lemon. Oh, I just love some of Jack's lines are amazing. Like, why are you in a tux? After 6, what am I, a farmer? like, getting your hair cut again? Yes, I get my hair cut every 4 days. After all, it is your head suit.
I don't remember that one.
That's so good. That one. I also love when she sees Jack at some point. There's a meme of this one where she goes, "What a week, huh?" Lemon, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
I just posted that one pretty recently. Actually, it was but not that. It was what a year, huh? Lemon, it's February.
Yeah.
So good. Did you ever want them to get together?
Mm-mm.
I didn't either. I never felt like there was like a calling for it.
Yeah,
and I never.
fans.
That's like not the relationship that they had.
Agreed. Yeah, It never was. It never was meant to be.
No,
I was glad they didn't go that route. I was afraid that they might like at the last minute end it with like "You've been the one all along, Lemon" or something like that.
Yeah,
but I'm glad they didn't.
No, I like Pete running away from his wife though.
Yes,
at the end, that's so good. Oh, it's never too late for now. Yeah.
Just the whole premise too of just like,
well, yeah, because you're a big SNL fan.
I am a big SNL fan,
yeah.
so just like, okay, it's a sketch comedy show. Behind the scenes in the writer's room. Sound familiar? Like that shoots at 30 Rockefeller Plaza.
Yep.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
It's great. It was. She really like that's how Tina Fey really. I feel like. I mean, she had been on Weekend Update for years.
Sure.
She was the head writer of SNL. And did amazing work there, but I feel like that's how she became more of a household name, was having this primetime show for 7 or 8 years.
Absolutely.
I was really, that's how she really, I think, came into the public consciousness, and like how she's so beloved is because of that show.
And it's funny because some of her other stuff is, I think, really hit and miss.
Yeah,
I think there's not. I don't think everything she pumps out is gold. I think it's generally good.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, but I don't know if everything is great. But there's something about 30 Rock where it's every episode. I enjoy every single episode. It's not like she wrote all of them either, but but it's her style. It's her show. It's her style.
Very quick. I mean, it has tremendous rewatch value because there are so many quick hit jokes that come one after the other, and you will miss so many of them, and you might not get some of them and not realize that it was a joke.
Yep.
Yep. Kimmy Schmidt has that too.
Oh yes, I love Kimmy Schmidt. Yeah.
And it's very much in the same style.
Apology accepted, Captain Nita.
But Captain Nita dies. He dies.
Yeah.
A lot of Star Trek Star Wars references, and
I don't think it's fair that I sit on this jury because I'm a hologram.
Dismissed. Yes. And they did that joke like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Princess Leia. Jury duty.
When she imagines Oprah instead, like chess. What's in this year? Chess. Sweater capes. Like Sudoku or whatever.
She's like on like painkillers or something, and she's and some black lady who's not Oprah. She imagines it's Oprah.
It's a kid. She's like a 15-year-old kid.
Oh, is
yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen that one.
Liz Lemon. Yeah. So good. So good. It's about time that I had a rewatch of it. I haven't like gone back to watch it in a long time.
I haven't either. That'd be a good one. That one or The Office, I could stand to rewatch soon. Excellent. That was the golden days of like NBC Thursday nights.
Yeah. What happened? NBC. What happened?
Just fell apart. But they had that. They had The Office. They had Parks and Rec. It was a good solid lineup.
Parks and Rec. I've only watched Parks and Rec once.
And you only finished it recently, right?
Oh, God, no. That was like
a year ago.
Yeah. Would you call it a year recently?
Well,
I guess in the grand scheme,
considering
of
how long ago the show was. I mean,
yeah. I guess that's a good point. But yeah, 30 Rock. Which one do you like more out of those 3? Office, Parks and Rec, and 30 Rock.
Office number 1, 30 Rock very close second, and Parks and Rec third.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think mine would go 30 Rock, Parks and Rec, Office.
Uh-huh.
And I liked don't get me wrong, like it's not a dismissal of The Office at all, but it just like it never connected with me the way that it does with other people.
Yeah, it took me some time, but I really got into it.
Yeah.
I really, really got into it. But that's a story for another day.
Yes, it is. Do you have any final thoughts on 30 Rock?
I'm very grateful that NBC kept it around as long as they did, and Tina Fey said this a lot too, because this was at the height, when especially the early days of 30 Rock, especially, we're at the height of reality TV really taking over everywhere, and like Survivor was a big thing, and like all these shows.
The Jerry Seinfeld episode when he keeps promoting B Movie.
Yes,
B Movie in theaters November 23rd. So good. Can we have our money now?
Yeah. The Verizon, like when they kept like suck up the Verizon. Like,
yep.
Can we have our
money now?
Oh man.
Yeah.
So good. The whole Cabletown thing I thought was fantastic. Because I hate Comcast.
Oh yeah.
I have no choice but to have Comcast. They're the only cable company I can have, like internet provider in my apartment building. But I hate them, and I loved all the crapping on Cabletown when they bought NBC in real life, and then that parallel
company. Yeah.
So great.
Yeah,
so great.
I love stuff that's meta. And
me too.
Yeah,
there's so much meta.
So
much. They did a lot. They made fun of NBC a lot. Like, realize the whole show was about NBC.
Yep.
And they made fun of NBC constantly, saying what terrible shows there were on NBC, like all the time. Yeah. And they got to do it for 7 or 8 seasons,
like MILF Island and all that stuff.
Yes. Oh, there's that one episode where he keeps greenlighting like all these terrible shows.
Yep.
Because he wants to get fired.
Yep. Oh, is it the No, I was thinking of the pyramid game with like the gold case Kenneth's game.
Yeah.
Where it's like they set the whole thing up and the girl can't hold the case up because it's filled with solid gold, and the guy's like, that one. Like, so good. Whole show. It's so great. I am very grateful that it was on. It survived the writer's strike.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that was only its second season, maybe its third.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, it was not far into the show.
Yeah,
but,
it was very early.
Yeah, and that killed a lot of momentum from a lot of stuff. So I am grateful for that show. It is on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's still there.
In its entirety, yes, it is.
Its entirety. I do recommend watching it. The first season, it takes a little while.
Yeah, but it really, you really do, you power through it.
And it's 20-minute episodes. It's not that much to power
through. Even like, they're not as good as the later seasons, but they're still funny.
Oh, yeah, they're still funny.
Right? They're still funny.
Yeah. It just takes a little while to get going.
Mm-hmm.
And once they find that, because it's not as zany to begin with.
That's right, yeah.
And I think once it finds its zaniness, that's when the show really figured out, like,
it took off.
Yeah. Oh, it's just so good. Anyway, so Frank, no one else is so good.
Well, off the top of my head, iTunes reviews. It's exactly what I was going to say. It's so good, so good. I have one here. You can leave us iTunes review on iTunes. 5 stars helps a lot. Sure does.
Yep, but you have one here. The Perfect Geek Podcast, 5 stars from the Rhymesmith. It says Frank and Tim's 2017 predictions are on point. So we had a State of the Union a little while ago, and the Rhymesmith thinks that we are on point.
Cool. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't reviewed us yet, we really would appreciate it, because it really does help the show more than you realize get out there. Also, like, hitting that subscribe button really helps. So
yes.
So if you could, if you're listening for the first time, hello, we hope you enjoyed the show. Please hit subscribe, because it really helps us. If you've already subscribed and reviewed, tell a friend. Just tell a friend, tweet, post on Facebook, whatever it is. Tell people if you think they might like the show, because the more people are listening, the more we'll be able to do this. So you can find us at beerwithgeeks.com, Gmail, Twitter, all these places, Beer with Geeks. Send us your emails, send us your tweets, send us your iTunes reviews, all that good stuff. Check us out on thoughtbubbleaudio.com, where you'll also find Supergirl TV Talk and The Marketers Next Door, our other podcasts. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Don't you think so?
I agree.
All right. Well,
so until next time,
cheers.